Well, so we will deep dive into the basics of buckling analysis. So in that we have the linear eigenvalue buckling, and we do also have the nonlinear buckling. We call it as a kind of a geometric nonlinearity. Yeah. So what we'll do is in this particular session we will focus on the linear eigenvalue buckling first, and with the results what we get it here, we'll also take it forward for the nonlinear buckling, and we'll see whether it is going to correlate. If not, how we need to proceed further. If it is correlating, how we need to take the results for further investigations. Yeah. So with that, let me start with the basic model analysis, and in this I'll simply import the file. So for this I'll just take the support frame. So usually I would recommend to use other CAD tools to deal with the designs. Mostly it might be done like that because people who does the simulations, they just try to take the step files or IGS files and try to do the simulations over here. They prefer for designing for other CAD tools like the Siemens NX or CREO or SOLIDWORKS, something like that. Yeah. And this is a kind of a frame which I have with me. I'll just change the unit system. First and foremost thing I'll just do is instead of running the free model analysis, I'll just go with the fixture, a normal model analysis with the fixture. Okay. So in this case, this is the region where I'm going to fix this, and also I would like to fix here. This is what the requirement for my study. Okay, I'll consider these as my initial case of investigations, and based on this I would like to extract 10 modes, more than sufficient. And the mesh I need to define for this model. Let me just go ahead with the first thing I'll do is the method. So here I would like to take this geometry, just apply it here, and method it will ask you for different types. Can even keep automatic. Let's try with hex dominant, and along with that would like to implement sizing, and that the geometry is the same again. Apply the element size, let me take it as 150 mm, and with this settings let me just mesh this model. Let's see whether it will give us a good mesh or not. So I could see the mesh has failed, and the mesh size is, I believe somewhere it is more. So let me reduce it to 50 and see. Yeah, it looks pretty good, and it's fine to take it forward. Now I have already applied the fixture and the number of modes. I'll simply solve this. So as the mesh is coarse, your simulation runtime will be less, and if your mesh is very fine, then your runtime will be again more. So I have 10 modes from here to here. You need to select everything and right click and use the create mode shapes, and then select everything from here to here and right click, and instead of this, first you solve this and then you rename based on the definition. Okay, now I could see the first mode, which is somewhat like this. Yeah, so it's kind of a torsional behavior, we can say. Yeah, then if I see the mode 2, this is a kind of movement which is happening like this, which is also practical because if I apply the load towards downwards, this is how it behaves. Yeah, and then we have the mode 3, which is again a kind of a torsional, which is practically not the case. The fourth mode is kind of like this. You can even switch to this one. You can easily formulate. If I apply the load, probably this might be the region which can bend like this and tend to failure. Let's see other modes also. This is kind of moving both the sides. I don't see this is a kind of a major excitation. Nope. No. Nope. No. So from here I could see that this might be the excitation might happen, and I could see based on this somewhat it is. Let's just increase the scale factor. That will help us to check. Ultimately it is impacting here itself. There is uh, no doubts. And if I go with the other modes, let's say the fourth mode, it's exactly showing here. Means I could see this is kind of the mode which will impact more on my particular application. Let's say if a structural analysis I'm going to apply, I'll fix it and I'll apply the load along downwards, that is along minus y-axis. So in that case, this might be the kind of a peak or critical mode. Okay. Now based on this, I'll proceed with the structural analysis. So I'll just load the static structural here. Yeah. So in this, I would like to go ahead with the same fixed support. You can simply drag and drop it here. And then I'll apply the let's say kind of a displacement here. So let me take the displacement, and I would like to select this face. And apply along y direction. I would like to consider 100 mm displacement, and that to negative. I'll just apply the negative sign for this. Yeah. So with this, I'm looking for the total deformation, strain, and the stress all of 1 minus, as I'm going to deal with the ductile materials. Yeah. I'll just run this. Yeah, so we have the results here. The total deformation I could see. This is how it is bending and too much. And as it's a kind of a static behavior, this particular deformation is not practical because we'll be having the geometry and material nonlinearities, and due to that the component can even go through the nonlinearities. The strain I could see, this is the peak region where it is going to impact. Yeah. When it comes to stress also, I could see the stress hotspot here, which is very high. So from the structural analysis, what I could see is these are the regions which are prone to a failure. If I see the stress results also, you could see this one and this one where it is highlighting, which are prone to failure. Okay, and now with this, I would like to go with the final analysis, that is the eigenvalue buckling. Here it is there, and here I would like to link the static structural analysis, what I exactly have it here. Yeah. With this, I would like to extract 5 buckling modes and I'll run this. So for buckling analysis, the free stress is important. So we need to run the structural analysis, and that is very important. And based on these load cases and the boundary conditions, it will try to buckle and give the results based on these. So I'll extract these again. You can right click and just take this, create mode, and then you can again evaluate this and just rename them based on this. Yeah, so if I go with the true scale, there's only a slight deformation. So I can just increase it a bit so that you people can see how it is behaving with respect to these pre-stress load cases. And this is what I could see. The load multiplier is 0.4 for this one. So whatever we have applied the load, if I just try to take half of it, then it will fail definitely. In the sense, for this particular load what I have applied, the displacement of 100 mm, it is going to fail is what I could understand. Yeah. And then if I see this, practically this cannot happen because it should either buckle concave or convex. And this is also one of the region where it should buckle. So we can even consider this into account. Yeah, it is slightly here, and this is not into account. Yeah, this one also a kind of a critical one. Yeah. So from this particular eigenvalue linear buckling analysis, what I could conclude is either the mode 1 should happen. If this is not a critical load, then definitely mode 3 should happen. So it should buckle like this. Or else I could see definitely this should buckle. So exactly at this region is what I could conclude. Okay. So the first one, I can show this one, either this or either this. So to again validate it and reconfirm, what we can do is we can run one nonlinear analysis on this particular model, taking the nonlinear material properties, and if we can just conclude that. So for that, I would like to go ahead with the part 2 session. I'll come back. I hope this session has gave you the kind of a brief overview of the eigenvalue buckling and why we need to run the static structure analysis, why it is important to extract the mode shapes. Yeah, to conclude, mode shapes will help us to extract the actual excitations based on the model, what we have it. And I could see this is what it is, which is closely near to the 70% of the buckling case. Yeah, and with respect to practical scenario, if I consider this model, here it should kind of deform. And if I try to see that, I could able to see where we have the stress hotspot with respect to this particular boundary condition. This is clear that that is the same mode shape I'm going to have it. Let's say if I consider this one, if I try to extract from 47 and the very minute mode shapes, 47.1, 47.2 up to 49 or 50, then I can get the mode shapes near to this region, which can also have these, this one and also this one, 1, 3 and these. Okay, so from this I could see that, and from structure analysis we could able to predict where it is going to approximately fail, and from buckling we can easily predict either this can be the case or else this one or else this one. 70% of the cases mode 1 will be the accurate one and it should buckle here, but based on the boundary conditions it might slightly vary. That is important. If that is the case, it might happen at the mode up to mode 5 or mode 6 you can consider. You can cross verify up to mode 6 or 7, and based on that you could able to predict which is the right one. Yeah, for me to conclude, I would go with the first priority, the mode 1. If not, then it should 20% it should have the mode 3, or else it should buckle like the mode 5. Let's see this and validate in the nonlinear analysis. And yeah, thank you.